Hey, we're back in studio here. We got attorney Frank Miranda in the house with us. We're going to talk about real estate law, and some other interesting topics here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Before we do, a couple of hot listings. We always like to feature our real estate properties as a way to help our sellers maximize the profit, sell faster for more money right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. We got a property at 605 Monterey Avenue. This one is in Clearwater, Safety Harbor. Great opportunity right here in Tampa Bay. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2163 square feet. It is a non-flood zone, current non-flood zone. Those are subject to change. 2163 square feet, fenced-in corner lot. You have new hot water heater, AC, and roof. Newer hot water heater, AC, and roof. And a beautiful pool area, screened-in pool, private pool, and it's also kind of a cul-de-sac type into the street there. So great opportunity here in Tampa Bay, 605 Monterey Avenue in Clearwater, Florida. We have a River Road here, 5930 River Road, Newport Richey, waterfront property. Another beautiful waterfront listing from the Platinum MVP team. 4 bedrooms, 3.5 bath. You have almost 2,000 square feet, over a half-acre lot, and 80 feet of frontage on the Cody River. Beautiful property right here in Tampa Bay. Bring your boat, bring your jet skis, enjoy that Florida living to the fullest. Formal dining room with chandelier, stainless glass windows, large picture window, and you have metal roof, stone construction, cypress wood shingles, and more at 5930 River Road, Newport Richey, Florida. And you can see all of our listings at PlatinumCoastalElite.com. Check out PlatinumCoastalElite.com. And a quick shout out to our friends over at Replenish IV Solutions, longtime friends of the Consumer Quarterback Show. I love going down there once a month or so, getting my vitamin infusion drip, something like the Myers cocktail going right into your bloodstream, vitamins, minerals, all types of good stuff. ReplenishIVSolutions.com. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. ReplenishIVSolutions.com. And we welcome in attorney Frank Miranda. Welcome in, sir.
Great seeing you today. How are you been?
Yeah, man. Likewise. So real estate is an interesting topic, and of course you're also a litigator. You're going to court and doing a lot of cases, and they're back mostly fully in person now, not as many as Zoom, or are you still doing some in Zoom?
A lot of the minor hearings are in Zoom, and so in case you have, unless you have a really major case with high consequences, if the hearing's more than 30 minutes, typically they'll bring you in live, but if it's a shorter hearing type of situation, you can still do a Zoom. So if you're just asking for another date or a continuance or something of that nature, it's not a big deal. So it's still, Zoom has really been a benefit. Really, it's good for the consumer, because instead of me wasting an hour and a half driving down there, finding parking, going through security, finally getting there, coming back, that's an hour and a half that I have to bill the client. Now all that travel time's gone. So it's really a savings for the consumer.
Yeah, I like it. I think that's a great idea, especially. And then, of course, if it's a more detailed case, you have to be in front of the jury. You have to be in front of the judge arguing a case. Then that's more of an in-person.
Right. That's a different ballgame, right? Yeah. So it's showtime then.
Showtime, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. All right, so Frank Miranda in the house. Let's see. So real estate, it's interesting. I brought a stat here. There's an interesting stat. It says home price appreciation has been strongest in Florida, Arizona, Montana, and Tennessee over the past 4 years. That is 60% or better. And so it's interesting. You look at the top states, and then you also have Washington, D.C. had a respectable 17.6% gain in 4 years, though it was ranked at the bottom. So that's kind of interesting when you look at the appreciation where people are moving. Florida's still a hot market, man.
Yeah, how do you gain 17% and you rank at the bottom? I don't understand that.
Well, that's over 4 years.
Okay, well, it's expensive anywhere there. It's really expensive there, and so it's supply and demand, right? Everyone's coming here, and so if you have a piece of property today and you maintain it, you're going to show and appreciate that increase.
Yep.
And unfortunately, we find some more supply because I think there's people that want to move here that just can't move here because there's not enough suitable places to live.
Right. Yeah, and the affordability is another major problem, almost anywhere in the country, but specifically in Florida, there's a lot of that affordability issues. One of the cool things that just recently happened is Lindsay got, my wife Lindsay, if you're not aware, the Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. She's also a realtor on our team and a team manager, and she was just selected as an area director for Legacy New Homes Division of KW, so Legacy International. So we're really excited about that, and pretty sure we just got an opportunity here for a 72-unit apartment complex, or condo complex, that is. So $500,000 and above condos. So really excited about that. So New construction is another area of emphasis. I think in Florida, you definitely need to be looking at new construction and getting those opportunities, because the resale value or the resale homes are just few and far between. The inventory is still low.
We talked about this before, and I'm going to spin this on you a little bit. Remember we talked about those nickel and dime type of conglomerates like Open Door and all, Redfin or whatever they're called.
The big home buyers.
Right. I mean, so when they're coming in there and they're buying literally 200-300 homes a month just so they can rent them.
Yep.
That certainly takes a lot out of the market. That certainly takes a lot out of the entry point. It certainly takes a lot out of affordable housing. And then what they do is they jack up the prices when they go to sell, and they kind of create this monopoly.
Yep.
I think you might have just given me a good idea on a class action lawsuit, because at the end of the day, they're creating this monopoly, and they're not affording the consumer the ability to buy something at the correct price.
Right.
They're artificially inflating some of those markets.
Yeah.
And so I just thought of that, so I want to go and do a little research.
Yeah, I know. I wish you would check this out too, because I remember, and I should research this, but when you look at it, there was some action that was being taken in D.C., and I don't remember which governing body or which house it was, but they were talking about limiting the hedge funds buyers, just specifically that, limiting. It was something like the Limit the Hedge Fund Buyers Act or something along those lines. But yeah, it's so sad because you have first-time buyers, veterans getting beat out by these cash money buyers that are just slinging around, all of these trillions of dollars.
Yeah. So the competing thought is, yes, we are a democracy, we're capitalist, and you should be able to make as much as you want. Everyone's agreeable to that, but we've always had laws. We've always had laws in place regarding, monopolies and trademarks, and not trademarks. It escapes me.
So monopolistic practices.
Right. So we have laws in place that kind of protect a normal person against that stuff. And the more we talk about it as we sit here this afternoon, the more I'm starting to lean to the fact that might be an action that needs to be brought.
Right.
You just can't have one business own everything.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's gotten that way, and that's why maybe we don't have as much on the market. Maybe that's why rents were so high for so long.
Right.
And so perhaps it is it's been gas, it's been on the fire, because people are moving here anyway, right? So we're going to see those increases naturally.
Yep.
But when you lock things up, it drives things even higher.
Yeah.
Artificially higher, I should say.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of the big companies like BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard, these are big hedge fund players. They're accumulating pools of money from wealthy, most likely wealthy people, or maybe some middle-class people putting their money into that fund. But then, yes, they're artificially influencing a market. It used to be, remember back in 08, 09 when you had all these foreclosures, you had the meltdown, the mortgage meltdown. Remember, it used to be for most of these foreclosures that were being released, it was like a 15-day or even a 30-day period where investors could not buy. It was all for the owner-occupant to have first stab at those properties. Remember that?
I try to forget 07, 08. That was really a bloodbath for everybody, and there's a lot of people went through a lot of pain during that time.
Yeah.
And there was literally, a shift when it comes to someone's personal wealth during that time frame. And so that was a bad time for a lot of people. Obviously, these companies that had the hedge fund opportunity and had, ungodly amount of money behind them.
Yeah.
They took the opportunity, which I don't blame them, right? So if you have an opportunity and you want to make money, you take advantage of that opportunity. But that being said, it still circles back to there's a point, there's a line in the sand that you really shouldn't cross, because then you turn into the monopoly, you turn into the bad guy, you turn into somebody that now is doing something that goes beyond what's legal and acceptable.
Yep, that's true. All right, we're talking with attorney Frank Miranda here in Tampa Bay, real estate company right here on Cypress Avenue, right here in Tampa Bay. So real estate title closings, real estate litigator. What else are you looking at, Frank? You help some landlord-tenant situations as well?
Yeah, we do. And we talked about squatting before we got on air. I want to make it really clear to everybody. First and foremost, there's no squatter rights in Florida. There's no such thing. And so there's landlord-tenant, and that's it. And so what happens, I think what happens and where some of the story gets confused, is if someone's living in a house and they're not supposed to be there, they break into it, right? And they take it over and they're living there. Owner comes by and says, "What are you doing here?" I'm calling the police. When the police get there, if the person committing that crime, and it is a crime, it's a trespass, right? They commit that crime, they're smart enough to say, "Well, I'm here legally. I have a lease. So when the police officer says, show me the lease, he says, well, it's an oral lease. But you can have an oral lease. That's nothing illegal about that. And so then it turns into a civil matter, so that's why they're not kicked out right away. But, if you hire someone that knows what they're doing, then you go ahead and you evict them. Now, is it time-consuming? Is it expensive? Is it something you don't want to do? Absolutely it is. Mm-hmm. But as we talked about before, we're all part of professions that have downsides to it too, and that's part of being in business, right?
Yeah.
And so it's unfortunate, but you know what? I say it all the time. If people did what they're supposed to do all the time, there'd be no lawyers.
Yeah.
So every time I hear a lawyer joke, go, yeah. But you know what? If people did everything they're supposed to do, that profession wouldn't be around. Yeah. And there's a lot of us.
That's right. People would follow the golden rule or maybe the 10 commandments, there wouldn't be as much.
Just treat people like you want to be treated.
Exactly.
Well, it's really that simple.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, so here's an angle too. If you're thinking about for sale by owner, a lot of people, there are some people that still want to sell properties on their own. Frank, you have a team. Stephanie and the team over there are awesome. You can help for sale by owners, folks that are closing real estate transactions. You can get involved and help them out too.
Yeah, absolutely. And we get involved in complex commercial stuff also. So, yes, we can handle those kind of scenarios, and we clearly like obviously working with people like yourself, professionals that know what they're doing. Makes for a nice, smooth transaction. At the end of the day, though, we circle back. I want to go back to that little topic for tenant eviction stuff. There's a misnomer out there too. I think, when you file, once you file your lawsuit and tenant eviction actions, it's not going to take a year to get them out. I mean, typically you get them out within 30 days. Now, you get backlog because actually, when you actually get a judge to sign the order to get them out, that order has to go to the sheriff's office. The sheriff's office has to send someone to get them out, right? Yep. And that list is long. Right. So the sheriff might have it for a week or 10 days just because there's so many people that got to get out. Yeah. And so you're just part of that list. And so at the end of the day, everyone's doing the best they can with the resources they have, but some of that time you just can't get around it. It's just so much of it. Yeah. Yep.
All right. Final thoughts. Frank Miranda Law Firm right here in Tampa Bay. Final thoughts. Back to you, my friend.
Yeah, the final thoughts. I'm going to go back to what I got from you. I'm going to steal this from you.
Yeah.
Do a random act of kindness.
I love it.
Do a random act of kindness. Everyone's going to be heated up with a political process going on, and this person did that person did that. I'm against this, and I'm against that. At the end of the day, just treat everyone like you want to be treated, and let's just try to everyone chill out.
I love it. Good advice there, Frank Miranda, attorney Frank Miranda, Consumer Quarterback Show, longtime friend of the show. Check him out online. Frank Miranda Law, MirandaLawFirm.com. What's the website?
FCM Law.
FCM Law. That's
FCMLaw.com.
Right. FCMLaw.com. Frank Miranda, thanks for coming in, man.
Hey, always a pleasure.
All right, taking a quick break. Coming back, we've got contractor extraordinaire Fred Muth, Tampa Screens and Aluminum on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Fred Muth going to be calling into the show, a.k.a. the Tin Man on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're talking about supply chain, some other topics there with his company, Tampa Screens and Aluminum, coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you've been listening to the phenomenal Brandon Rhymes, the Consumer Quarterback Show.